most unexpected places. At an enormous, spontaneous Instagram live party put on by the American DJ D-Nice, I bumped into old friends I hadn't seen in years, old media colleagues, music industry mates, and nightclubbing buddies, and the imaginary ones I had only ever followed from a distance, Michelle Obama, Janet Jackson, Rihanna, and Tracee Ellis Ross, to name a few. Each one of our circumstances were uniquely different, and yet we were all there, 100,000 of us united in isolation in our need for human connection. Weeks later, over 700,000 of us tuned in to a live-stream music battle turned mutual appreciation session between two women responsible for soundtracking multiple generations of Black lives, Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, and then bonded for the next 24 hours over the endless stream of feel-good memes the evening produced. It was a night of sisterhood and healing, a celebration of us and all of our nuances. Most of the time, I'd prefer, I like to be a lady. Sometimes I'm not. I'm a lot of things. Aren't we a lot of things? Jill Scott said. We were all alone, together. The show of numbers throughout these moments reminded us of our own agency and collective power, especially when the world erupted in protests over the videotaped murder of George Floyd, an unarmed Black man suffocated under the knee of a white police officer. We mobilized on both small local and sprawling global levels. We raised money for bail funds for protesters, called government officials and demanded arrests, and circulated petitions to defund the police. We protested both in the streets and virtually, and we called out racism as and when we saw it. We said their names: George, Brianna, Ahmaud, Tony, Ayanna, Eric, Michael, Sandra, Tamir, Tony, Tanisha, Yvette, Rakia, Natasha, Kendra, Kimberly, Joyce, Ralkina, Kayla, Ginia, Corin. And we did all of this in a matter of weeks, with Black women powering much of the action, from organizing marches and conducting justice work trainings to creating social media campaigns and assets that mobilized millions around a range of action plans. Throughout it all, we asserted our beauty and humanity in the face of tragedy, while continuing to go to work, mother our families, and support our friends and relatives. We showed up, together. So while the world looks radically different from how it did when I first began writing these essays, reflecting on a decade's worth of personal and cultural touchstones, the issues at its heart, belonging, connection, resilience, and identity, remain. And as we reevaluate our lives during one of the most pivotal years in modern history and move forward towards a future that will be different from the one we imagined, I hope this book reminds you that even in the midst of chaos, we're here, loving, persevering, growing, and finding the meaning in life as we go. Girl. Girl. Grrrl. Girl. Go, girl, girl. Mommy, why is it that every time you're on the phone or with your friends, it's always girl, 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 girl? My son asked me 2 years ago as I was tucking him into bed for the night. I was amused, mostly at the sight and sound of myself through my 5-year-old's eyes and ears. He had gotten my animated pacing and high-pitched intonation just right, but also at the idea that I used the word enough for him to pick up on it. I hadn't realized, sweets, do I really say it that much? Girl, you do, he said with a childish smirk, before turning over and closing his eyes. I tried to swallow my laughter as I turned off the light and tiptoed out of the room. In my life, I've used many pet names for the people I know and love. Sis, love, beauty, lovebug, babes, hun, pumpkin, doodlebug, sweets, bae, dumpling, and peanut, among others, but throughout my evolving network of friends, and especially so